Welcome to My Big Story with Christopher Swan, the weekly show where I talk with amazing people about their story. A story that includes creating a life that they love, living a life of intention, and where we can learn from their stories. This week I interview Los Angeles-based singer-songwriter and actor Michael Barnum. Michael is currently focused on his music career, releasing his debut EP, Trust, late last year. He's currently working on new music and gaining momentum in the LA music scene and with online streaming platforms like Periscope. Michael and I recorded this interview in the space where he recorded his EP, high up in the Hollywood Hills. It only seemed fitting to tell his story at the birthplace of his recording artist career. Michael is full of determination and persistence to see his dreams become reality. And he's doing it by being true to what he loves and by creating an engaged community of fans. It also is easy to see Michael's passion and smarts in everything he does. In our chat today, you'll hear more about Michael's musical journey, why platforms like Periscope matter for creating connections, signed artists versus independent creators, taking the leap from a day job to creative work, and suggestions and advice for any artist. I'm so very glad to share this interview with you. Michael is extremely talented, has real life experiences to share with other creatives, and he's the nicest guy. And that's a big and, after you're done listening to the episode, visit accidentalinformation.com to watch an exclusive live performance of Michael's latest single, Universe. And oh my gosh, it's so good. Everyone, meet Michael. Michael, it's great to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. So before we jump into the things, I want you to describe where we're recording this at, because I think everybody that's around the world will be like, what space are you in?
Right, because podcast is just audio, right? So I have to kind of
set the stage,
describe the scene. Oh God, I'm so good at that.
And it's not just the actually building that we're in, but also the surrounding.
Okay, let's start out with the view. We're up in the Hollywood Hills, kind of like secluded from the main part of the city where it's really loud. So,
and if we look directly outside,
yeah, you could see the Hollywood sign.
We're actually staring.
I'm looking at right now.
It's almost eye level.
It's a La La Land movie right now is what's happening. And it's a beautiful day outside. I don't even know how many feet up in the hills we are, but
we're almost at the top.
Yeah, we're almost at the top, pretty much. Yeah,
and that's why I wanted you to share. I don't think I tell anybody to do this, but yeah, it's just it's an amazing view and it's a cool space.
Well, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Just kidding. No, so this is actually my producer and friend David's place, and he was very, very nice to lend his creative space to us. So.
And this space also holds a little history for you as well, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. And when we were figuring out locations, I thought, oh my God, where I remember, not my house or something like that. So I was like, it has to be in LA because that's better for both of us or something. But we're actually in the space where my EP Trust was conceptualized and was created. In fact, I'm pointing to the studio down there.
Because the listeners can see that.
Yeah, absolutely. So the studio space here, and we're in the birthplace of that baby, of that EP.
Which is really kind of it's not the beginning of your musical journey, but it's like the official musical journey for a lot of us, like the beginning for you, for us.
Yeah. It's the beginning of me as a recording artist, because I had never stepped into a recording studio prior to this. So this was all new, like just coming up here and working on music. It was all new to me, so...
Let's talk about your debut EP, Trust.
Sure. Yeah.
I want to start with the name. Why call it Trust?
Yeah.
What's the meaning?
It's funny because, again, my musical journey started, I've been singing since I was 4 years old. Mm-hmm. And my mom, she studied voice and piano. So I got the music genes from her, obviously. And I picked up the guitar in 2012 and then started writing about 2 years after that, and then wrote my first original song, I Try, and with my co-writer, Nicholas Pilipil. I have to say his name because he's going to be like, you don't say my name, I'm going to be so mad.
You never plugged me in.
I know, exactly. He's probably rolling his eyes right now.
We will totally link to him somewhere. We'll put him in the show notes.
Yeah, follow him on Twitter.
We'll put a giant picture of him.
That's right.
Okay, Nicholas, we're like best friends now.
I know. Yeah, great.
Okay.
So yeah, and then I played it online on like a live stream platform called Periscope. And people were like, "You need to be doing original music. You need to be writing music." And I said, "Whoa, that's incredibly scary." But I did that, and I played it at an open mic, and people were like, "Yeah." That kind of at that moment when I played it at an open mic was sort of where it kind of solidified for me that I think I need to explore this more. And so the idea of trust and the word trust has always been at the back of my mind because it's something that I'm still dealing with today, just whether it's in relationships or with music or in life in general, just like learning to trust yourself more. And so I named it that twofold. First, to remind myself to trust myself more in whatever I'm doing and to know that I'm good enough. And then the second fold is for people, because I want people, whoever is listening to my music, to get the sense of feeling that they are worthy, that they are, worthy of being heard, and that their stories are valid, and that what they have to share is valuable. So I that's the feeling that I want people to get when they listen to my music. So trust, that word, it's always been in the back of my head, and I just kept thinking about, like, I'm gonna name it that, because I want to look back and be like, and be reminded of where I was at that time. So, yeah.
Well, then going backwards, you started, I think, in 2012 is when you were really picking up like the guitar.
Yeah, that's the first time I picked up the guitar.
Because here's what I know about you as well. Oh, God. I think you're like, I think of you as like the triple threat. Like you act, you sing, you dance. Like
Dan, that's okay.
I haven't seen you dance, but I think I've heard that you do.
God, okay.
So,
all right. I call myself a mover. Okay. But okay.
So you're like a double threat. Okay. How about that?
All right. I'll take it. Yeah.
So music started in 2012. I'd love to know a little bit more about how that started. Like why music, since I know you like to act as well and you can do some of that. Why music for you?
Just on a more deeper personal level, can I touch base on that, on what had happened when I was 5?
You can tell me anything.
Okay, great. So we're going to go there. So I call this like the American Idol package, before they play, before you go on stage, be like, it's the whole sob story thing. But now this...
Cue the violin music, right?
Yeah. So this is, I'll give you what I call the American Idol package, which is it's not exist anymore because American Idol's not here anymore. But no, so on a trip, we went to the Philippines for the first time. I was like 5, but on the way back, I had caught some like terrible syndrome called Steven Johnson syndrome, I forget. I don't know exactly what the name is, but where I couldn't open my eyes and my mouth, and I was immediately hospitalized when I got off the plane. And I remember being in the hospital for like 3-4 days and stuff. And the nurses would try to feed me and stuff, and my lips would just bleed. Oh, yeah, it was incredible. It was like If you ever wondered what like a coma was being like, that's what I could hear things, but I couldn't eat, I couldn't see anything, and doctor said it could be fatal and stuff like that. And so, long story short, like my mom, she's a huge, Roman Catholic, and so a big believer in God and stuff. And so she prayed by my bedside and stuff. And then one day I finally like opened my eyes, and so it kind of feels like a second life, or like I was given a second chance. And that's why I feel like my purpose in this world is much more greater than I dare imagine. And so yeah, I'm just so thankful, and I just feel that I have so much to offer to the world.
So you just hold on kind of to that of, well, look what could have happened.
Yeah, absolutely. It's obviously there. I mean, if you're a firm believer of things happening for a reason, like had that not happened, I don't know exactly where I would be right now or whatnot. But I just have this very strong feeling, Christopher, that there's something that I need to share. And so if something is tugging me, which is music right now, that's what's pulling at me right now, I'm going to share that. And it's a gift that I have been given. And I think it's my responsibility as an artist, not only as an artist, but a human being, to share that with the world.
Yeah.
So that's the deeper purpose.
Well, here's something I was leading to as well,
Sure.
because one of the songs in the EP, Get It Right. Yeah. So I've listened to your EP a ton of times. So
oh my God.
I know it pretty darn well.
Yes.
So if I listen to that song, and I find it, that song as well as others resonate. They resonate for me because also I'm creating things and doing things on my own. And I think anybody who is pursuing a passion, whatever it is, could probably find some connection to what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So in Get It Right, you do talk about you're following your dream. Maybe you don't have so much support in there. Get another job, do something else. So
it's like the typical like musician's journey, right? Yeah.
But does that come from truth for you as well? Does that speak to what is around you at some point and what you're doing? Like, do you have that kind of influence of maybe you should actually go get a real job?
Yeah, I mean, yes, those there are people who I know I've spoken to and stuff and sort of not judge me, but they're just like, you could be doing something better. But again, music always saves me. So every time I come back to it, or if I'm feeling frustrated, I play music and stuff, and I'm just kind of grounded in that sense. And so it's funny because Get It Right we wanted something, because a lot of it was the whole EP was turning into very ballad and sort of heavy. We wanted something more upbeat and stuff. And we didn't want to, by the way, I wrote that with Nicholas Billapil. So he's actually
plugged him
another
too.
Plug. There you go. You're welcome. And so Get It Right is we didn't want to create the same like musician, I'm a musician, I'm struggling sort of thing. Those three words, get it right, I think that's a tendency that I have, and a lot of artists, is like we're so attuned to wanting to be perfect, right? To wanting everything that we do to be amazing and to get it right?
Yeah.
Like we want, and there's always like when you do something, you're like, is that okay and stuff? And so that's still something that I'm still struggling with. It's just like kind of being grounded and realizing that it doesn't have to be perfect. So.
Well, that's a great point.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes good enough is actually just fine.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. So I'm like recording YouTube videos and stuff, and like you do like 20 takes, and you realize the first take was the best one. Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. So
well, that's so my story,
right?
With every video, I'm like,
yeah, same thing with like recording the EP, because I'd never stepped into a recording studio before. Like I was like, no, I need like 3 more. Please give me like 3 more. And they're like, my producer Dave was like, no, the first one was fine. I'm like, but it wasn't, because like I wasn't. And they're like, no, like you got to trust yourself. I'm like, don't you dare use that word against me. So yeah.
Well, maybe some of it is we just get in our own head because we think there's something else that we could do in there, but we can't hear from the perspective of somebody else.
Absolutely. So now I'm definitely more aware of when I am creating content that like I'm trying not to butcher myself so much or to put so much stress on trying to get a perfect product.
Yeah.
Because I think maybe you believe the same thing, is that the imperfections is much more beautiful than yeah.
It's interesting. I think that's always been true, but it's so much. It's more true today with the things that we see online, because when we see artists, we don't really want perfect. Because we want to know the backstory. We want to know the inside.
Yeah.
And those are the non-polished areas.
Sure.
And that's what makes them more interesting.
Yeah.
I think that's why we have also the rise of YouTubers.
Yes.
It's not like Tyler Oakley. If you look at him, I mean, he's super big now. Or he's not perfect. And, so I don't, there's some real truth to that.
Yeah. And I think audiences resonate with that when because if you see somebody that they're not perfect, and you see that they're just like you, then that's where you can find like a connection with them. You're like, I see myself in you.
Or maybe what I want to do is also achievable now.
Yes, absolutely. I think of when you're talking about how like the imperfections in their artistry, I think of like Sia.
Oh, yeah.
Although she has like a beautiful voice, there are moments where she just like wails and then her voice cracks, where it goes like slightly off, but you're like, whoa. Like that's not perfect. Like perfect would be like clear tone, you could hear everything, but no, there's like qualities in her voices where she cracks, where it's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like you can hear, I get like emotional because you can hear you could feel her story just within those slight little nuances. Yeah.
Well, so I want to continue the music conversation about living in Los Angeles and being an independent artist just coming up, and there's a lot of musicians and performers in Los Angeles, and it's a great space for that. It's also saturated.
Yeah.
So what does that mean for you?
I got to be honest with you. It's finding my voice as an artist. I'm not there yet. I'm still kind of discovering that. And many artists are, a lot of them are afraid to admit that, but I'm scared to say that just right now. But I don't have it all together. I don't. I haven't figured out exactly where what my voice and my sound is. I'm still developing that, and I'm not afraid to admit that. I think just being in Los Angeles, yeah, there's a lot of pressure because there's so much content being thrown at you from all around. But if I'm also being honest here, I haven't actually been fazed by the other talent that I see. I'm more interested in seeing what they're passionate about and seeing them share their stories. And I really try not to compare myself to other people. I think
That's smart.
right. Yeah.
It's hard.
Comparison is the thief of joy, isn't it? Right. I don't know who said that, but it is hard. Because you're like, oh, why am I not as good as them? Why are they getting more Facebook likes than I am? So I really try not to focus on that too much. And so I think you just have to have a really grounded life and kind of surround yourself with people who are A, working twice as hard as you, and B, who support you and are not afraid to call you out on things that you're doing wrong or whatnot. So yeah, I'll admit that there's moments where I do get overwhelmed, or some artists kind of make me feel inadequate, but I'm always able to tune it back to who I am.
I want to talk about how you also use Periscope to share your music and your connection. It's really different than where we were at even 10 years ago with music.
Yeah.
We weren't live streaming. No. And you are on it regularly. I think we laugh because it's
there's a word in the community, it's called scopeaholics. And so
that's kind of
I'm guilty. Yeah.
Yeah. I follow, I think like a handful of people.
Now, had you watched it before?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
There's a YouTuber, Matt Cullen, actor, locally.
Yeah.
He's actually been on my show as well. So he is a big Periscoper or scoper.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, the sounds weird to me. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because Periscope doesn't sound weird at all.
I mean, if you want to do a blanket statement, it's live streamer, because there's many platforms now. There's a bunch of them.
Yeah. Exactly. But Periscope really is well known for that. So here's what I want to know about this. Has that brought you a different kind of connection or something unique in pursuing music than you wouldn't have if you're just doing it in person?
Yeah.
And let me give, I guess, maybe some context to it. So I've watched you Periscope multiple times, and here's what I don't think you do know when I'm watching you, because it's usually like at 9, 10 o'clock.
Yeah, I'm a late streamer. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, which is at that point for me, like I'm like slowing down.
Yeah.
So I'm usually working at that point if I'm online. So I'm actually in front of my computer, and I actually am watching it on my computer, and I have you on the right-hand side of the screen.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm on like Illustrator doing something.
Okay.
And so that's why I normally am not chatting with you as much.
You're just listening.
I'm listening, or I'm watching you.
That's great.
But I'm doing something.
Yeah.
I'm the oddball out. So everybody's watching you is like chatting you up a storm, which I find completely hilarious. So for anybody who's listening who's not done this, you've got to go watch it, because sometimes Michael he's in a room playing music, he's taking requests, but sometimes he's folding laundry, and he's like, so it's like super entertaining. And what I find interesting about this is it is this constant kind of like connection and chatting. So it's more than just music. Yeah. It seems. I would love to know a little bit more about what the connection is. I'm glad that you're
like pushing on the connection thing, because I think the thing that I've learned as a live streamer is that it's not just about, for me, like playing music. That's great. That's the one, like, it's great. People can connect to that. But what it really comes down to as a live streamer, or anybody that's, doing this and sharing their stories, is that what I've come to realize is that people want connection. And that could mean through music. That could mean through stories. People just want to be acknowledged. They want to be able to connect to something. And that's what I see. Like, people comment, they're not only saying, "Oh, Michael, your voice sounds great," or "This song really speaks to me." When I have moments where I'm like, "Guys, I'm having a bad day, but I'm here, I'm streaming, I just want to tell you that." And they're like, "Thank you for sharing that," because it's so easy to go online and you see people like perfected and sharing about like happy things and stuff like that. But I really try to make it my live streaming life is pretty darn close to my life. Like, I don't want to not share things that are happening, because I want to show people that I'm human and that it's okay to have feelings. And so that's what I've come to realize, is that people really just want connection. They want to feel connected to something. And I'm happy to give them that when people say really nice comments, and that if I've said this before on the stream, and I say it many times, if I've made anybody who's watching me smile or forget about their troubles or just kind of get away from whatever it is that they were having a bad, something bad happen in the day. If I've made somebody smile at least once, then I've done my job. So whether there's like 3 or 400 people watching at that time, if I've done that for one person, then my job's done.
That's a great way to look at it.
Yeah. So
with the success that you're finding online, and I know you're getting some more gigs as well as you keep going. So you're starting to find, it seems like, this up level of success. And with the access you have to different channels like YouTube and Periscope and these different things, are you looking to even like stay as a creator, as an independent creator, or are you like looking for that getting signed traditional route?
Yeah. Glad you're touching on this, because I have all these feelings about it now. And I think
feelings.
Sure. Yeah. Feelings.
All the
absolutely.
feels.
All the feels. Hashtag the feels. I think it used to be, getting signed used to be like the end goal. It was like, oh gosh, yeah, it'd be fantastic if I could get signed to a record label and tour the world and stuff. But nowadays, people are just making their own content straight from home. And let's be honest, some of them are doing better than the people that are actually on the radio and stuff, and making more of an effect and kind of changing the game. And it used to be, I was like, oh yeah, it'd be cool to get signed. But now, honestly, this doesn't really appeal to me as much. I mean, not to say that I won't take the meeting. I'll take the meeting hey, if you want to meet me, let's take the meeting.
Dear listeners, if you're a producer.
Hashtag desperate. No, it's, I would take the meeting, but I wouldn't be so quick to sign my life away just then and there. Cause if you put it in a scenario mode, if said record label wanted to sign me, they'd be taking a huge risk, because I haven't built that huge fan base yet. So if we made an album and we marketed and there's not a fan base to support that, whose money is going to be paying for, all the costs for the recording? That's going to be me.
Yeah.
And so that's why I'm not rushing to get signed. I still have much more work to do as an artist and to really build my craft.
Well, especially if you've talked about you maybe don't know your voice yet.
Yeah.
Like if you're still, I also really love that you said it, because I think it's important. It's important to know. And it's interesting to even say it, to think like you could be afraid to say that or worried about it, because to me, it's not just about being honest. It's about you're an artist, and artists are supposed to grow and evolve.
Thank you.
So it's not just like I have one voice and I'm only going to produce pop music, or I'm only going to produce. So like, it seems funny not to, I don't know, like keep growing and changing.
And you have to be, as an artist, you have to be curious about the world.
Right?
Yeah, there you go. Your eyes just like opened
Totally.
up. You were like, yes, that's absolutely true. No, you have to be. That's something I learned in theater school. I have a bachelor's in theater. But you have to be curious about the world and want to be willing to learn. Yeah. Right? So yeah, I think that's what it really comes back to.
What about the tough spots of creating music and trying to pursue this career? We've talked a lot about like obviously the vision and the stuff that you really look more. What are the things that have been either have or you think are in the way?
God, do I talk about it? I don't want to talk about it. I will talk about it. You know what? Let's be open book here. I've been at my job for like 4 years now, and I work in social media marketing for an arts organization. I won't say the company unless they out me, but it's been 4 years that I've been at this thing, and it's not fun anymore. I'm also the longest running employee there. Everyone else is new or have started within the last like year or 2 years or whatnot. It's a great organization, but I'm just at this point where in my life where I know I need to kind of mix things up a bit. And I think it's time. And now that we've recorded this, I'm going to do it. I'm going to quit my job. Oh God, I just said it.
Wow.
If I don't do it, then I'm going to look like a dick, won't I? Okay. Yeah. Whoa. Crap. I feel like this is live and I just said, but I think I have, I know I have to do it.
Wow.
I have to, I got to get a change of new scenery. And as an artist, it's not, I don't see myself sitting behind a desk for the rest of my entire life. I really don't. And it's great. I can take all the things that I've learned from that and apply that to my life. But I'm also at that point where I'm like juggling so many things. And every time, Christopher, I'm getting really passionate about it. Every time I step on the stage, I'm like, why can't I be doing this every single freaking day? Why can't I like be playing stadiums? Why can't I be playing arenas like every single day? And then the voice is like, Michael, you could do that. Just take the plunge, leap, and the net will appear. And so I want to work towards that. And so I'm at this point where I know I'm on the brink of change. I was talking to my friend, Nazi Nasiri, who's also another incredible singer-songwriter. And I was telling him, like, it feels like I'm holding her hand along with my other friends' hands because we're all doing a bunch of creative things. And a lot of us just within this year have been doing creating a lot of content and getting a lot of traction. And I'm like, guys, it feels like we're just on the brink of something incredible. So I was telling her, I was like, it feels like I'm holding your hand. We're standing at the edge of a cliff looking down. And on the bottom, it says fear. Like it's spelled out fear in dust or rocks or what have you. And it's just a matter of us taking the leap and jumping towards that. And so that's what it feels like. And I'm just like, I'm like longing for this new scenery.
And it's not just the scenery. It sounds like if you are in this day job, I'll call it.
Yeah.
It's holding you back because you don't have the time or the effort or energy to go even further.
Yeah. And I don't want to like put them in a bad light or anything or make this interview about them, but you know, it's been a while, and also it doesn't feel, I don't feel as connected to it as much anymore. Like in the grand scheme of things, we're creating productions and creating art and stuff like that. But I think it's that time. I feel like it's the train that should have left the station years ago, but I've been scared too.
Well, if you really want to pursue music or something creative on your own, no matter what job you're in, it's not that.
Yeah.
So it's not really about them. Mm-hmm.
That's true.
Right? It sounds more like it's really just about, I want to do this full time and I'm going to figure it out, because that is I understand the fear, like in the bottom, the picture you pointed, because it's, you have to survive. You have to pay for things, like,
oh God, yeah,
groceries and food.
Oh God, money. Yeah.
Yeah. Like that. Yeah. You have to pay for that.
But like, see the idea of taking that plunge and kind of walking away from it is scary. And I may not even know where my next paycheck's going to come from or where my next gig's going to be. And my mom's probably going to kill me or have a heart attack just listening to this. But that part is also actually exciting. Just the fact that you don't know what's going to happen, and how many times have you like stepped into something new and ran towards fear, not knowing what the hell is going to happen. And then you often get surprised by it because behind it is something more incredible, something
you couldn't even see because it was clouded, right?
Yeah. But once you've like committed fully to the moment and you're there and you look and you're kind of like holding fear by the hand and looking at it like, what was I so afraid of? Gosh. Oh man.
I feel like it's turned into therapy now.
I know.
You're welcome.
Therapy sessions with Christopher.
That'll be the next show. What about acting? If you were to take that kind of plunge, would you also pursue that further as well?
Yeah.
Because I know that's in the mix a little bit.
It is in the mix. And like in 2015 and like years before that, it was solely acting or just performing on stage, doing mostly stage work. But again, music has been the thing that's been like tugging at me. So a lot of my focus has been on that. But I think here's the thing, like I'm a musician, I'm a singer-songwriter, but I'm also an actor. But like encapsulating all that, I'm an artist.
Mm-hmm, sure.
And so, yeah. So
do you think that's important for people that are starting in a career like this to remember is, don't get pigeonholed in whatever maybe somebody else is putting you in. Hey, produce music, create music, or if you love to act or if you love to draw, do that as well.
Yeah, I think if it scares you, you probably should do it. And also if something, there's always like a little voice that's like, maybe I can try that. I don't know. But most people are like, never mind, I'm not going to do that. I think if you have that little moment, go for it. Like, do it. Like, what's the worst that could happen if you try something new? You could actually fall into something that you could fall in love with, something you didn't know that you been needing. And so going back to what we said before, you just have to be curious as an artist and just continually be fascinated by the world around you because there's stories. Like that's why I love what you do, because you recognize and understand that everyone has a story worth telling, and whether that's through a book or through music or verbally in an interview, like everyone has something to share.
Who influences you out there? Like, who are you influenced by? Is it other artists? Is it family? Is it your friends? Is it what inspires or influences you?
My mom, but actually both my parents. My dad's like, what about me?
No, not you, Dad. Sorry, no.
I should say my mom because she has the music gene. So thank you, Mom. But my dad, like both of them are really, I'm really grateful. Yeah, let's make it about you guys, parentals. They have been nothing but supportive in my career. And I know a lot of artists and a lot of budding artists and kids and people who are pursuing these creative dreams don't have that support. And so I'm really grateful and thankful to you both, Mom and Dad, for supporting me. They come to my gigs. They've bought me that guitar over there. I'm still paying for it in blood, sweat, and tears, but they're really supportive, and I'm grateful to have them in my life. And I don't think I'd be where I am had they not have given me like the push I needed to pursue this.
That's awesome.
So
yeah, that's great to hear that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about what's next.
What's next?
What's coming up for you?
Yeah. So I'm working on new music right now. My next single is called Universe, which I submitted. It's on YouTube. You can check it out. youtube.com/Michael Barnum Music. And I submitted it for the NPR Tiny Desk contest. And that was the first time that I'd released a sort of performance video on YouTube of that song. And so that song was conceptualized last September. I challenged myself to write a song every day in September.
Wow.
Spoiler alert, I didn't write. There's 30 days in September, right? 30? Yes. Huh, that's right. I wrote like 15, but that's one of the songs that came out of it.
Huh.
And then leading it back to the whole live streaming Periscope thing, I wasn't going to play it. I don't think I would have played it for anyone because I was kind of scared to share it. Because, you write music or you write things and you're like, I'm not sure if I want to share it just yet because it's really personal, right? Like you. But I remember that time I was kind of contemplating. They're like, "What are you thinking about?" They were typing. And I'm like, "Oh, I have this song." They're like, "Play it." I'm like, "No, I don't want to." And they kind of like pushed me, like, "Do it!" And I played. I'm like, "Oh my god, I'm playing it and stuff." And then people like connected with it, and then now it's the next single. So I'm looking to release that after May. So sometime after this releases this podcast. So we're looking at after May is the next single.
After May.
I don't want to promise dates because we are still working on it, and it's shaping up, but it's not entirely there yet. But
well, I would say for anybody that's listening, if you haven't watched the video, just watch that and you'll get a great sense of it. Like that really caught my attention initially.
That's the first thing you saw me, right? No?
Yeah, it might actually be because I
think you responded to my tweet.
Yeah, you sent something on Twitter, and then I was like, "Who is this schmo?" And
Joe Schmo.
So I looked you up, and I was like, "Oh, this Tiny Desk concert." And I watched it, and I was like, and I think I was because that's one of my favorite songs that you've done.
Oh, thank you.
So I was sold up, and I was like, "Who is this Michael dude?"
Oh gosh.
And I watched it, and I was like, "Oh," and you submitted it to NPR Tiny Desk, which I thought was so good that you did that.
Thank you.
And I've been a fan of watching all the different performances with them, and there's so many great artists.
The people the group that won.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
they're amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely. I would think people should go watch that and listen to it. It's a nice performance, and so I can't wait for this actual single to come out.
I know, me too. I cannot wait, and it's also I'm also taking my time with this one because now that I've done an EP and then I've recorded and I've stepped in the recording studio, I have my musical ears are a little more not picky, but a little more sharp.
Was it almost like recording the first EP too was just like good experience and practice?
Yeah, it's kind of like stepping into the water for the first time. That was that, and a lot of in that process was gratifying and was amazing, but it was also stressful because I didn't know exactly what I was doing.
Yeah.
Right? And so I was like kind of dependent on what other people thought. So a lot of that, I fell into the artist like, is that good enough?
It's probably a good lesson for everybody to remember. Like, go in there with a almost like a trial and error mind.
Yeah.
Or know that you don't know what you're doing. You also have some gigs coming up as well. And I would imagine that you're trying to build those up.
Yeah.
Because you're working on the single, but you also need traction with the audience if you're trying to grow a career at it.
One of my goals this year is to build a substantial fan base within the greater Los Angeles area. I'm reading this really great book. This is just like shameless plug. It's a really great book that I recommend for any musician. It's called How to Make It. And I've recommended this to like all my musician friends, and I've gotten them to buy the book. So I feel like I should get a cut of some of these sales, Mr. Ari Hurston. So the book is called How to Make It in the New Music Business. I'll say it again, How to Make It in the New Music Business by Ari Hurston. And he has like a music blog called Ari's Take. And if anyone that reads music blogs, and he talks about how it is as a musician and the struggle and, you know, what to do to get in these doors and stuff like that. But I really want to start locally and then start branching out. So, because I feel like I've just barely scraped the surface here in the LA, you know, Los Angeles area.
What's the best way for people to follow along, find out more about you, your story, your music?
Sure. Let's start off with my website. All right, write this down. Grab a paper and a pen. My website's michael-barnum.com. That's my official website. In fact, if you're on there, join the mailing list, put your name and email, and I will personally, get this, Christopher, I will personally send you the single Universe before I release it out to iTunes. Yeah, that's a little exclusive, right? Because there has to be an incentive. You can just be like, here, give me your email. No, but that's really what you'll get, exclusive content, and that's one of the things is I'm going to send everyone on that list this song they get to hear before I release it on iTunes, Google Play, and Amazon. So that's the website. My Twitter is twitter.com/BarnumMichael. That's BarnumMichael. So the M kind of conjoins into one. Yeah. It's kind of complicated a little bit, but you wouldn't like what it was before. It was a hot mess. Instagram is the same thing. Periscope's the same thing. I'm also on another live stream platform called Crew.tv, KRUE.tv.
Michael, this has been great.
Oh my gosh.
I'm so glad that we went through this. And
thank you so much. I feel like we went like, did we go overtime? Hopefully we're not like running. Oh God, he's looking at me like,
whatever. I always look at it like this, you know.
Oh, okay. I thought it was like new. And I was
no. I think we've just, you know, it's been a good conversation, and we've done some really fun stuff, and I think it'll be really helpful for others. And
before we end, I do want to say thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak with you and for reaching out to me. I say this all the time, but I think it's really cool what you're doing is that you're interested in other people's stories. And I mean, this guy, come on, I'm going to put the spotlight on you.
Okay.
This guy sends out an email campaign every week that's highlighting stories that he's kind of gathered, I don't know, during that week or whatnot. And you're sharing that with the world. And I think that's incredible. Incredible.
Thank
you. I know that this is just like the only beginning for you, and it looks really promising. And so I'm really honored to be a part of this journey with you.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like I tell people, I just share things that energize me to energize you.
Yeah.
Like just put the good stuff out there.
But you send an email every week, and it's like quality content. So, you know, most people I don't send the email every week because I don't have that many things to share. But
I'm a sharer.
I feel like there's like one more thing I need to say, but I don't know what it is. You are worthy. If that's one thing I can leave the people here, is just know that you're worthy, you're good enough, and that you don't have to be perfect to be amazing. You're already beautiful. Just the way you are. You know?
That's amazing, because I was like, sing us out. That's what I was going to tell you.
That's a Bruno song. But yeah, I think we'll end it there.
All right. Thanks again. So what'd you think? Any new ideas? Are you going to try something new? I'm always left feeling great and have a ton of ideas after these conversations. Guests are totally energizing me. Speaking of being energized, did you guys know about my Awesome Finds newsletter? Each week I share creative spotlights, meaningful stories, and new ideas to spark your imagination. And the reason I'm really doing it, I just want to share the great stuff in the world that energizes me to energize you. So if you want to sign up or you want to find out more information about it, go to awesomefinds.info. That's AWESOMEFINDS.info. Okay, back to the show. If you want to share thoughts about the guest or how the show sparked a new idea, I'd love to hear about it. You can call me and leave me a message at 1-707-347-9312. Just include your name and a brief message, and you may even be featured on the next show. If you want to follow along with me and see behind the scenes fun and my adventures, you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at @MeChristopher. That's MECHRISTOPHER. You can also follow Accidental Information on Instagram and Facebook at Accidental Information, and on Twitter at Accidental Info. Also, we publish original articles weekly about following your passions, getting creative, and a lot more, all at accidentalinformation.com. Lastly, if you love the show and want to spread the goodness, go tell a friend about it. As in literally text someone or go email it to them. I'd love it. Also, make sure you subscribe to receive new episodes automatically each week. Thanks again for joining the conversation. Okay, that's it. We'll talk again next week.